Check this out. In this video, I show how I burn belly fat in just 7 days.
Everyone wants to see a flatter belly fast, but most solutions sound magical because they focus only on calories, endless crunches, or miracle pills, and ignore what actually matters: how the body decides where and when to store fat. Abdominal fat is driven by hormonal and metabolic processes: insulin, cortisol, satiety hormones, by inflammatory status, and even by the composition and function of the gut. Understanding these levers lets you act intelligently. You don't melt fat from one spot, but you can reduce bloating, use glycogen stores, and create conditions that favor faster fat burning. And that can produce visible changes in just 7 days. Before we get into practical actions, it's essential to understand that not all fat is the same. Visceral fat, the fat that sits deep around the internal organs, is the one that carries the greatest metabolic and cardiovascular risk. It is biologically active and secretes pro-inflammatory cytokines that increase the risk of insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. Reducing waist circumference is therefore both an aesthetic objective and an important health measure, not a frivolity. Recent reviews and research highlight the role of visceral fat in residual cardiovascular risk and metabolic complications, reinforcing the priority of strategies that target inflammation, insulin resistance, and abdominal accumulation. With that in mind, the 7-day approach I propose combines measures that operate on well-known mechanisms: set eating windows to allow insulin to fall at strategic times, optimize sleep to regulate appetite hormones, prioritize protein to preserve lean mass, include efficient resistance training to maintain and stimulate muscle, cut foods that trigger bloating, and use simple stress control techniques. Several scientific reviews show that intermittent fasting and time-restricted eating protocols can improve metabolic markers and aid weight loss when applied properly. These regimens work because they repeatedly force the body to alternate between the fed state and a fasting state, stimulating fat use as fuel during periods without intake. Another often neglected mechanism is the impact of sleep on appetite regulation. Clinical studies have shown that sleep deprivation alters leptin, the satiety hormone, and ghrelin, the hunger hormone, increasing hunger and preference for high-calorie foods, which, over days, facilitates abdominal fat storage. Practically speaking, poor sleep not only reduces your readiness to exercise, it also alters food choices and the hormonal environment, making fat loss harder even if you're trying to eat less. That's why improving sleep is a high-return intervention. During a short 7-day cycle, much of the visible change comes from two complementary effects: reduced bloating and glycogen mobilization. When we cut sources of sugar and simple carbohydrates while giving ourselves fasting periods, the body uses muscle and liver glycogen for energy, and each gram of glycogen stores multiple grams of water. Metabolic studies show that glycogen depletion is accompanied by water loss, which produces a rapid drop on the scale and a reduction in abdominal volume. But it's important to understand that this initial loss is quite different from loss of adipose tissue, which requires a sustained energy deficit. Still, the effect is real and motivating, and it can be obtained safely if you follow moderate steps. Protein is another key piece. In calorie-restricted diets, consuming enough protein and distributing it throughout the day helps preserve lean mass and increases satiety, two essential conditions for losing fat rather than muscle. Clinical reviews and trials indicate that higher protein intake during weight loss improves lean mass retention and helps control appetite, which facilitates adherence. So prioritize lean protein sources at every meal: eggs, chicken breast, fish, Greek yogurt, legumes, and plant-based protein alternatives. Exercise-wise, hours and hours of cardio are not the only solution, and can even be counterproductive if they lead to muscle loss. Short resistance sessions, 15 to 25-minute circuits, increase post-exercise oxygen consumption, or EPOC, and send preservation signals to the body. Moreover, metabolically active muscle increases resting energy expenditure, which over weeks amplifies fat loss. Well-structured practical workouts, squats, push-ups, rows with a band, and variations of plank 3 times a week already produce impact, especially when combined with a protein-rich diet. Note, EPOC varies between individuals, but the combination with increased lean mass is beneficial for body composition. Based on these principles, here is the practical 7-day plan designed to maximize safety, adherence, and visible effects. Day 1. Environment and reset. Eliminate sugary drinks, chips, and ready-made sauces. Do a practical pantry clean and restock with simple options: eggs, plain unsweetened yogurt, chicken breast, fish, brown rice, oats, leafy greens, berries, and nuts. Start the day with 2 glasses of water. This first step reduces intake of sodium and hidden sugars and decreases fluid retention that inflates the belly. Day 2. Active morning and eating window. Upon waking, drink water with lemon and walk for 10 to 20 minutes at an easy pace to get circulation going. Breakfast should be protein-rich, scrambled eggs with spinach, or Greek yogurt with chia. Eat dinner early, around 7 p.m., to initiate a roughly 12 to 14-hour fasting window. This window is balanced for most healthy adults and lets insulin fall overnight. Day 3. Introduce resistance training. Perform a 20-minute circuit of 3 compound movements: squats, incline push-ups, band rows, and a 30 to 45-second plank. Take short rests to maintain intensity. Keep protein at every meal. The goal is to signal the body to preserve muscle and increased post-workout energy expenditure. Day 4. Focus on de-inflammation and gut transit. Drastically reduce salt, avoid ultra-processed foods, and add fibrous vegetables: cucumber, broccoli, zucchini. If tolerated, include natural probiotics, yogurt, kefir, to support the microbiota and reduce gas. At night, practice 10 minutes of deep breathing to lower cortisol before sleep. Day 5. Prioritize sleep. Cut caffeine after 2 p.m., turn off screens 1 hour before bed, and adopt a relaxing ritual: reading, warm bath, light stretching. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Regular sleep helps normalize leptin and ghrelin and reduce cravings for high-calorie foods. Day 6. Fine-tune nutrition. At each meal, combine protein plus fiber plus healthy fat. Example, grilled fish plus salad plus avocado. If you train, consume a moderate complex carbohydrate post-workout, sweet potato or brown rice, to replenish glycogen without causing insulin spikes. Avoid sugary desserts and sodas. Day 7. Measure and plan. In the morning, fasted, take a photo and measure your waist at the same point. Note energy, hunger, and sleep quality. Compare with day 1 and plan the next week. Repeat the cycle, increase fasting only if comfortable, gradually to 14 to 16 hours, and progress workouts by adding load or repetitions. What to expect in 7 days? Most people will notice reduced bloating, clothes feeling looser, and an initial weight loss that can vary, typically between 1 to 3 kilograms, depending on starting point, fluid retention, and adherence to the plan. Use the first week as a springboard. Visible results boost your motivation to continue into subsequent weeks. Safety and limits. This strategy is intended for healthy adults. If you have diabetes, low blood pressure, a cardiac history, take medication affecting blood sugar or blood pressure, are pregnant or breastfeeding, or have an eating disorder, consult a professional before starting. Avoid aggressive fasting and very low-calorie diets without supervision, as they can cause dizziness, lean mass loss, and imbalances. If you experience symptoms like intense weakness, fainting, palpitations, or confusion, stop and seek medical care. Some practical tips to increase adherence: commit to micro goals, like swap 1 sugary drink for water today. Record results, photos, measurements. Share progress with a friend for mutual accountability, and reward small wins with non-food treats. These psychological strategies help turn an initial push into lasting routine, and the sum of small changes is what transforms a 1-week shock into months of real results. Throughout the plan, a few practical details can amplify the outcome. Prioritize meals made up of lean protein, varied vegetables, and a moderate source of complex carbohydrate. Avoid sugary beverages, and adopt stress control techniques like diaphragmatic breathing, nature walks, and short meditation sessions. and increase incidental physical activity. Take stairs, walk for small errands, and sit less. Small increases in daily activity add meaningful calories and improve metabolism. Finally, remember that this 7-day plan is only the starting point. The real objective is to use this initial window to build confidence, adjust habits, and learn what works for your body. Rather than seeking instant and unsustainable fixes, focus on consistency, progression, and self-care. Science supports the pillars of this plan. Controlled periods without food can improve metabolic markers and favor weight loss when applied safely. Adequate sleep regulates appetite hormones. Protein preserves lean mass during calorie deficit, and glycogen mobilization releases water, explaining part of the rapid early loss. For further reading, consult reviews on intermittent fasting, sleep effects on hormonal regulation, protein's role in preserving lean mass, and articles on glycogen composition and its relation to water retention.
If you found this plan useful, hit like and subscribe to Health and Wellness for All. I post practical, science-backed strategies every week to help you feel better and perform at your best. Check out our related videos next. Simple sleep hacks that burn fat, protein-packed meals for busy days, and 20-minute resistance routine for beginners. They pair perfectly with this 7-day reset and will help you keep the momentum going. Drop a comment with your biggest win from this week, and I'll reply. Let's keep supporting each other on this journey.
Did you enjoy the video? Subscribe to our channel, Health and Wellness for All, for more tips and information. See you soon.